What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and it is time to have the discussion of discussions. And the first question is, should you summon on the banner? And my answer is 100% yes. If you didn't watch the videos on the kid units that we got, remember, anytime you get new CPs, any like units like these crossover units that are going to warrant you like brand new CP levels, it's worth getting at least one. So the answer is yes, summon on this banner. But what should you go after? Well, obviously, like I said, even if you're not interested in these units for whatever reason, a lot of people are in the collection aspect of this game, so I'm going to address that first. From a collection aspect alone, even if you don't care about these units, get one of each of the new units. And the nice part is, on this banner, you're in luck, because, I can't remember her name, La Folia, the old girl in the white hair here. She's the only unique unit on this banner. And I hear you asking, but what about Yukina? Well, we get a Yukina for free, so you don't necessarily need to do that. On the other banner, however, what is her name? I don't remember her name. Sayaka. Sayaka is the only unique unit on this banner as well. And you guys could pretty much surmise immediately we're going to get a part 2. It was a big topic of discussion last night on the stream. There's a lot of units that they've introduced that aren't in here. I would imagine when the data mines finally get here, there's going to be a lot of NPCs that are potential new units in there. So if you're not enamored by these banners, remember, there's likely a part 2. There might be, I'm going to guess, 2 brand new banners for part 2. The only reason I'm thinking that is they're giving away so many free summons on these first banners. And that is another factor in this we'll talk about here in just a moment. But first, a lot of people want to know, should you spend your hard-earned iris or even money on these banners? And let's talk, first of all, about the units on the banners, and then we'll talk about the other half of that aspect here in a moment. Now, once again, Naza. HP is 3887, which is really good for a physical unit. Physical attack is 2050, very good. Defense is 570, good. Dex is 839, that's very good. Agility is 1029, that's extremely good. So all around, her stat-wise, she's really awesome. Remember, all these units are time-limited, so if you've been saving gnome tickets, you actually will have a much easier time maxing these units out. But honestly, if you're using gnome tickets, remember, we have, most likely, not confirmed, but most likely, a part 2 incoming. Actually, I think they did confirm it on the stream last night. I take it back. I'm 99.9% sure there's a part 2. So before you spend gnome tickets, wait and see what you get from everything we've got going on in part 1. So don't go crazy yet. So they are time limited. That means star bonds will work on them. Not prism bonds, star bonds. Remember, those are the gnome tickets that you can farm up during the events. And every one of these units are dragon killers. Now, interesting factoid here. I think dragon killers are like one of, if not the most common units in the game. So, in theory, you could avoid summoning on these banners if you're really like looking forward to Familia Rush incoming. Familia Rush, unlike Royale, a little bit different, but at the same rate, you're going to have opportunities, and I'm sure you can use some of the other dragon killers in these upcoming events. Maybe not to the same effect, but I'm talking to the free-to-play players right now, the people that are really worried about, should I summon or shouldn't I summon? So do bear those things in mind. Think about those things when you're considering this. Now, Naza specifically, skills. And skill 1 with Naza alone makes her an excellent sack. If nothing else, have the one Naza for the single target sack. Why do I say that? Single target, foe singular, low light physical attack, and single target attack damage plus 25%. That is the highest percentage that we've gotten on a single target debuff, technically, outside of SAs. In fact, 20% was the highest that we had prior to this, except SAs. There was an SA that was 25%, a couple SAs, in fact, I think that were 25%. So this is taking an old SA, turning it into a skill 1. I've heard this called a meta shift. I don't consider it a meta shift, and let me explain why. You have units like Wine who had 20% on both AoE and single target. So I think this is literally just power creep and progression. I wouldn't really call it like unprecedented or game breaking or blah, 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 blah. But it is the highest single target debuff on a skill, on a sackable skill, not an SA, sackable skill in the game. If you have Weene, she still will beat her out because her SA is 50%. So when people are jumping up and down saying, oh my god, it's the best ever, we have 50% on a unit? I think I'm going to have to go pull it up now. I don't remember whether that's physical and magic resistance. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to pull it up right now to verify. So dandy have the phone in front of you when you're talking about these things. Filter this down by her adventures. Where is she is at? There she is. Search. So, yeah, SA is all in single target plus 50%. I was right. So, it is not what I would call unprecedented by a long shot that we get a 25% skill. In fact, I'm going to gauge we should probably see much, much, much more of these. There's a 50% SA in the game, as we just discussed. So, the people that were jumping up and down to that, I think this was inevitable, honestly. I don't think this is like crazy, oh my god, we'll never see it again. I think we're going to see it a lot more frequently. It is literally, I guess you could call it a meta shift. We're out of that 20% single and AoE target meta, and we're now into the 25 range. So, but she's the first of the first. So if you're really like if you're like me, like I'm all about Record Buster. To me, she's gonna become my new sack, 100%. So I will be going after Naza. I will be getting at least one Naza, and yeah, seeing where that goes. She also does self-strength and light damage plus 50%. That's not really anything to write home about. Skill 2 is a fast, highlight physical attack with temporary strength boost, strength, and magic down 40%. It's basically a single target version of Haruhime's skill 1. Skill 3 is basically an attack version of half of Haruhime's skill 3. Foe singular, super light physical attack with high on guard rate, temporary strength boost, and allies extend buffs by 2 turns. So it's a super light physical attack, which is nice, single target, so it's going to hit decently. There's no percentage boost there, but she doesn't need it because she extends buffs. So she's a really interesting unit. We'll see how she works out, but I kind of really like where they're going with her. That said, I'm pretty sure tonight's Record Buster is going to favor physical units, so she's going to be basically the meta in this upcoming event. Though, to be honest, I think there's more hidden in there, but we'll see. SA, ultra light physical attack with great temporary strength boost, ally strength, magic, and light damage plus 75%. Now, it is worth talking about here. And this is a unit that I think is going to be very polarizing in the comments section, because while that on paper is nowhere near as good as the OG Haruhime and the light Haruhime. Remember, light Haruhime does 80% light, OG Haruhime does 100% strength and magic. That said, she's a physical light attack that does all of that in one skill. While, and let me play devil's advocate for this unit here for a moment, while not as good on paper, is there something to be said for maybe in an event that only has 15 turns tops, getting those skills out early and buffing everybody and getting more damage? There is an argument for that. We'd have to see on paper how that plays out. I'm sure there's a point at which obviously the double buff would actually work out a little bit faster, a little bit better. But in fights where in fights where magic is resisted like crazy, like the last Record Buster we had where it was 100%, then those skills would be kind of null and void, where this one is going to be really nice. There's arguments for either side, but right now, as it stands, I think that is a really good SA. Not groundbreaking, but good. And I think all around, she's going to be extremely useful on a lot of teams. I'm probably going to go for maxing her. I might. I really got to see how she plays out tonight. Because once again, our Record Buster coming in is dark type, and so I feel like light is definitely going to be the big And I feel like they're going to debuff the magic resistance, though magic light is pretty crazy. I've really got to see how this one plays out to know how we're going to accommodate for this. But all around a very great unit. Very great unit. If you do nothing else, get her for a Record Buster sack. Take my words on that. Just one unit at level 60 will be more than enough for most situations. But if you're like me and you've got a badass light team, she's going to be really awesome for that too. Most people probably need at least one. Some people are going to want the whole gambit. I like her. I really do. Does she blow me away? No, but I really do like her. Passive skills, 35% dark resist, counters a regular attack, blah, 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 blah. Counterattack damage 50, oh, sorry, counters and regular attacks are light physical attack. I'm not going to just gloss over that. That's typical. We see that everywhere. That's not groundbreaking by any stretch. Counter damage is 50%, which is really good. 50% damage on crit, 30% strength, agility, and dex, and she's a dragon killer. Moving on to La Folia, because I think this is another one that really warrants a lot of discussion. La Folia. HP is 3867. Once again, like getting close to that 4K mark that I kind of want physical units to be at right now. None of them are there, but after CP rewards and all that stuff, they do kind of get there eventually. Physical attack is again over 2000. That's very nice. Triple S stat. Defense is 579. Also very nice. Dex is 714. Also pretty nice. Agility is 1107. That's extremely nice. Stat-wise, she's a really good unit. Once again, all these units are time limited, like I said before, and I think all of them are dragon killers. Now, skill 1. Pay attention to me. There is a player on JP that predicted the Winnie sack meta. That particular person has a Winnie at level 1. Because of that, their hero won like every single bloody time because they predicted it. Now, yesterday in the video, and I'm not going to toot my own horn because obviously like everybody's probably figured this out at this point. It doesn't take a rocket genius to figure out what this first skill does. Fast, mid-light physical attack, 25% damage per strength, magic, and agility buff on foes. Removes those strength, magic, agility buffs. Except it says skills. So, there is an argument to having La Folia at like level 40 or whatever, just enough to get skill. I mean, at level 1 she'll still get skill 1, but just enough to like keep her alive after turn 1. And then take her into war game, let everybody else do their fast buffs. She comes in, bam, negates them all. All you got to do is tank the first round of hits. All you got to do is tank the first round of fast hits. Bam! All of them gone. Now, because it is a fast skill, that's going to be really, really, really hard to do. There's going to be a whole, like, round of people just trying to make their La Folia slower and slower and slower so that she comes out of the gate and just wipes out everybody's buffs. Because she's going to hit hard with that. Even if she doesn't get a physical or physical buff off of that, and you don't want an agility buff on her, even if she doesn't have that, she's going to walk in like, you guys wanted ways to like counter the lead team? Well, we got Ani Kitty, and she is going to be another one right here. Basically, I believe his is a fast skill. Like, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure his is a fast skill with his buffs. And then she's just going to go, nope! And hit him with a 75, actually 150%, because if they're buffed on both the assist and the adventure side, which most people that are trying to like rush do, she's just gonna, nope! Magic rush teams, look out. Old girl, basically they're gonna come out of the gate and bam, 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 bam. All you gotta do is tank those first few hits. Nope! And their agility and magic buffs are gone. They've got no choice but either like just deal with that or rebuff on turn 2. A lot of that's going to come down to how people have their units set. And if they have their units set to rebuff on turn 2, probably not going to do what they want to do. This unit has every capability to nullify that, but it's going to take a lot of work, a little bit of skill, and a decent amount of luck. There is something to be said for this skill 1 being used in that way. Now, here's the kind of interesting debacle with this unit. Let's talk about skill 3. Skill 3, foes plural. I know I skipped skill 2. Skill 3, foes plural. Light resistance, strength, and magic down 40%. If nothing else, that's a fantastic sack skill. Also, 3 additional actions, foes low light physical attack. Skill 2 then, super light physical attack, physical resistance down 35%, self strength 75%. Now, she never buffs her light attack damage. That is something that is kind of lacking on this unit. And a lot of people have kind of sneered at this unit for that. But remember, we have light damage buffs in this game. You're either looking at the previous Naza, you're looking at light Haruhime, you're looking at tons of units out there. When she inevitably gets that light attack damage, she is going to be dangerous. Wholly and completely disgusting. Now, here's the other caveat to this. Skill 1, I've said, is a fantastic skill for Wargame. Skill 3 is a fantastic sack skill. If you have her at level 60, she'll get skill 3. But people in Wargame that have her at level, 40 or 50 are going to be beating you to her debuffs. When I say beating you, basically yours is going to attack and then theirs is going to negate yours. So there's something to be said here. That skill 3 is fantastic as a sack. Skill 1 is fantastic for Wargame. So minimum you want her at level 60, but you're going to accept the fact you're going to get beaten in Wargame every single time. There's a tough call on this unit because the people that are maxing her out are going to have a wonderful time with her in most events. Your 7th zones, your like Grand Wars, things like that. This unit is going to be absolutely awesome maxed out because once again, her SA, super light physical attack with temporary strength boost, light resist and physical resist down 50%. So, skill 1, great for Wargame. Skill 3, great for a sack in any event. And all around, once she gets a light attack buff from like Light Haruhime or Naza or somebody, she's going to go to town. She's going to be a monster. With the exception, and I will say this, the biggest issue with her SA is that her SA doesn't do any percentage damage, but she's really more of what I would call a support unit. She's like a weird combination of support and like hard-hittingness. She still requires a little bit of help to get the damage out there, but once she gets that help, she's going to be fantastic. You could basically like spam skill 1, especially with its low MP cost. 49 MP cost is going to be hilarious on these units. And any unit that has a buff, she's going to just absolutely decimate. Plus, I'm going to predict with Familia Rush incoming next week, probably the first round of, maybe even the second round, but most likely the first round of enemies on Familia Rush are going to have physical and or magic and maybe even agility buffs. So she's going to be deadly. Those of you guys that remember the new Tiona, the one that became like a Finn killer, remember how much damage she was doing against Finn? That is basically what I expect out of Folia. Not to the same extent, but her skill 1 is going to be brutal in some circumstances. Special circumstances, to be fair, but some circumstances. These are tough, 2 tough units to crack. There's a discussion to be had on her. Let me know your feelings on this unit in the comment section down below. I think this unit is... It's an interesting choice by Right Flyer because she's amazing in every aspect of everything. But you've got to choose how you're going to use this, and that's how you're going to build the unit. You got a tough choice ahead of you. You really do. Especially Whales. Whales are going to be like, I want to max her out, but I also want one at level 40. Tough call. Very tough call. The rest of the banners are pretty easy, I'll be honest. The rest of the banners are absolutely spectacular. I haven't even decided what I want to do with her, because I really want to max her out for Familia Rush. But we desperately, and we talked about this in the quality of life video, the The game really needs some kind of way to like reverse units down to like level 60 or something. Or if you pull more than like your 5, give you the option to have one at a lower level. There needs to be something like that in this game. It is desperately lacking in that regard. I'm going to move on because we could talk about this unit all day, I think. The new Yukina. Now remember, we're getting a free-to-play one of her, so it's not really the end of the world. That said, for Wargame, she's great. Allies get 15% agility, though that is going to make her really deadly against your team. And foes, 20% and critical and penetration rate decrease. If you are a Wargame main, you want old girl, 100%. Remember, this is also the max skills, but I would argue like a unit like this, you're not going to chase just for 1 or 2. A unit like this, you're going to chase to max, and that's it. If you don't max her, you're really not chasing her. So that's kind of the answer here. If you're going after her, if you want to get her for Wargame, great. That's the only reason really to have her is Wargame. If you don't go, I mean, if you are going to go after her to max. If you're not going to go after her, don't bother. That agility is going to be off the chain, but also remember, once you beat her, you're going to hate life drastically. Banner number 2. This is a lot easier banner to crack, okay? Sayaka. Once again, 3855 HP, very good HP stat. Physical attack is 2069, nice. Dex is 732. Agility is 1095. She's good all the way around, and once again, a dragon killer. Skill 1 is an ally's fast dex, agility, and endurance plus 35%. 2 additional actions, foes, low wind. She's a wind unit, not a light unit. Low wind, physical attack. That's so you use those light units on the last one. Skill 2 is a foes, plural, fast, high wind physical attack with high uncounter rate, endurance down 40%, and allies wind attack damage plus 50%. That's an interesting skill there. All allies get wind 50%. There are some units on the wind team that could really use that buff. That's a nice addition there. Nice addition. Skill 3 is a super wind physical attack with ultra on guard rate and temporary strength boost, and is kind of, why did you bother without a percentage boost? Though to be fair, she's 100% support. Like, this is a weird one too, because she's 100% support. Look at skill 1 and skill 2. Like, all support. Like, she didn't even give herself a physical buff, but her wind attack damage buff, while being all allies, is kind of... She really needed like a self-physical buff on top of that. She's not going to hit worth a damn. And skill 3 is just laughably bad without a percentage boost. SA, Ultra Wind Physical Attack, temporary great strength boost, removes foes' strength and magic buffs, and allies' strength and magic debuffs. That SA is interesting, but I'm going to be honest. The number of times you're going to use that will be somewhere between 0 and less than 0. This is a collection unit. This is not a unit you're going to max. This is not a unit you should probably care about. There are few situations in which this unit is going to be massively useful. And even if she is, it'll be as a sack. Get the one level 60, be happy with that. Passives are 35% earth resist, counters regular and counters and regular attacks are wind damage, 15% damage on penetration, 30% strength, agility, and dex, 20% ailment resistance, and she is a dragon killer. Leafia, 45% seal with 20% strength, 20% foes, plural, strength and dex deficit. In other words, she debuffs strength and dex. Couldn't think of a good way to word that. Probably the best assist on this banner whatsoever, and I don't even need to tell people that are building ailment teams that you want old girl. Especially having an ailment with the strength and dex debuff is really gonna help your team out. Just a fantastic unit all the way around. HP is over 1,000. She's built for magic teams. Magic is 641. Agility leaves a little bit to be desired, but it still isn't bad. But you're going to really tie her to a magic unit and go to town. Not a whole lot to say about this unit, just all the way around a great unit. And if you have an ailment team, you're going to max her anyway. You already know. I don't need to say much there. Eyes. Allies, 20% strength and endurance and seal... Oh, I'm sorry. I read this wrong yesterday, too. Allies, 20% strength and endurance, seal resist and taunt resist, plus 100%. Now, there's an argument I'm going to make for this unit, but let me go ahead and go over stats real quick. HP is 912. That's respectable. Not great, but respectable. Physical attack is 616. That's fantastic. She's going to be really good for your physical teams. Not so much for your magic teams. That said, hear me out on this. So when you're new at the game, it's impossible to build the anklets that you need for Record Buster. So you really need to use some assists that will negate seal and stun most specifically. Those are the two most common, I would argue, in Record Buster. The problem is, most of y'all that are new at the game aren't going to want to max this unit, and there is a 3-star unit that will do all the above. Here's my one argument, though. If you're new at the game and you're looking for someone that does something like this, that's going to be allies 20% strength. I'm sorry, at level 60, 15% strength and endurance. It's a sack unit that will also give your unit seal resistance. It'll only be 75%, but that's going to be enough for your early game Record Busters to not be a major nuisance. It ain't going to be great, but it's not going to be a huge nuisance. If you are going to go after this unit and you're new at the game and you're looking for ways to get around seal, it's an okay one, but get her to level 60 and don't go crazy. I don't think she's for most people that are late in the game, they're like, why are you saying this? That's insane. They could use the 3-star. You're absolutely right. They could easily use the 3-star. But it comes with a strength and endurance buff of 15%, and nobody else is going to be able to do that at level 60 like Eyes is. Just throwing that out there. And she's honestly, and if I'm full disclosure, you're going to get this unit to level 60. You're going to use her for the first couple of Record Busters, and after that, you're going to be like, never using her again. Never, ever, ever using her again. So full disclosure, if you get one, cool. And honestly, if I'm real, you got to summon on the banner anyway to get her for her CP rewards, which you do definitely want her CP rewards. You'll probably wind up with one of her in the process. And if you don't sweat it. Just use the 3-star. So my answer is don't chase this unit. This is not a chase unit by a long shot. If you wind up with her, you'll find her useful if you're brand new at the game. But older people in the game are going to pull her and be like, trash, throw it away. Throw it in the corner and don't think. That's the unit that I like go in and like every day just like plop like a level on, one little tiny like item so that I can build up her, or so that I can do my daily leveling. That's it. Like she's literally going to be that unit laying in the corner like doing nothing. Like, if you've ever seen my box, I always have those units at the bottom that I never upgrade. That's because I keep those units for just such an occasion. I just walk in there. I know I've got 3 or 4 units. Well, like a dozen units. That if worse comes to worse, I can always just like plop, one item on them and get my dailies. That's going to be her, honestly. Anyone who's been in this game for more than a month probably is looking at this unit going, meh. Anybody who's brand new at this game might find use for a month or two. Tops. I just want to play devil's advocate for her, and it's real hard to do. Now, one last thing to talk about is the Celestial Festival Gacha. Now, this is paid Iris only, but remember, you can pick 3 units, and your first, 3rd, 5th, and 7th draws are guaranteed to have at least one of those. We're getting an Iris sale. I would say this is an even better value than the current banners. Now, also, once again, guys, be aware, we are 99% positive that we're going to be getting a second round of banners, so don't go crazy. Don't blow all your Iris. Save for round 2. Historically, when round 1 is this questionable, round 2 is going to be much better. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, comment, share. I'm going to be back at you guys with more Danmachi here. We got the data mines coming up.